stages and phases of labor kind of get you a little bit confused. I mean, with 3 phases and 2 stages that we're going to talk about today, it kind of seems like a lot of information when you're just in the middle of having a baby. So my name is Midwife Kira. You probably know me as the Cajun Stork. I have 2 boys. My first son was born in a hospital here in Lafayette because I kind of had a high-risk pregnancy. My second son was born at home with the midwife who trained me. The home birth was amazing because, as you know, I believe in truly natural birth, and it really was just everything that I had expected it to be. So using my birth story, I'm going to give you ladies a little look on the stages and phases of labor. What I want you to take away from this is, mamas, while you are in labor, you're not perceiving labor as stages and phases. Like, that's just not how your brain works. This is how healthcare providers and your birth team are perceiving your labor and kind of categorizing your labor so we know where you are. For you, while you're rocking and rolling in labor, all you need to do is just focus on being in your happy place and focusing on that truly natural birth that you know you can do. So I was 40 weeks pregnant, just a couple of days after Thanksgiving. My due date was on a Sunday, and being a midwifery apprentice, I knew that babies don't come on their due date. So when I woke up on Sunday morning and I was contracting pretty much every 5 to 10 minutes throughout the day, I was just so aggravated because I knew babies don't come on their due date. And so I just kind of put it out of my mind. We went Christmas tree shopping that day. And so with my 4-year-old son, we walked around 2 different stores, found a Christmas tree, loaded it up in the truck, unloaded it at home, set up the Christmas lights when I realized, you know, I've been contracting all day. It's now sundown, and let me time my contractions and see what we have. And I was contracting about every 4 to 6 minutes, nothing too exciting or uncomfortable. And I was actually doing it under the kitchen table at dinner, timing them. This was, of course, before they had cool contraction timer apps on your iPhone. And I realized my contractions are 4 to 6 minutes apart. And although I knew I wasn't yet in active labor, I knew that something must be going on because I'd been contracting pretty consistently for quite a while now. And I hear this a lot from my clients in that early labor was kind of the time where they start to figure out, I might be in labor. Sometimes it's a full day of contracting. Sometimes it's a couple of days of light contracting. But this is stage 1, the early phase of labor. Now, come midnight, my contractions have gotten pretty consistent. They were about 5 minutes apart, and I was trying really, really hard to get some sleep because I knew my birth would be coming soon. I did a cervical exam video a few months ago about how the dilation of your cervix does not tell you when you're going to have your baby, and this is proof. So I checked myself at about 11 o'clock at night, and look, my cervix was high, tight, and closed, and I was so angry because I'd been contracting in early labor all day. My cervix should be open, and it wasn't. Little did I know that I would have my baby in my arms 10 hours later. So I was sleeping through the night, waking up every 5 minutes, getting a little excited because I knew my home birth was coming, and I would look at my watch and go, oh, 5 minutes. I'd go back to sleep. 5 minutes later, I'd wake up and have another contraction. Next thing you knew, I slept through the night. At about 4:30 in the morning, I woke up like something hit me like a brick wall. Whoa, what was that? And I kind of waited. And then 4 minutes and 59 seconds later, boom, I had another one. And I knew by the second contraction, oh yeah, I'm definitely in active labor. So I got up, went to the tub, ran my water, and was hoping that my labor would slow down just a little bit so that my husband could sleep because I knew it was a Monday and he was going to be waking up for work soon. Well, sure enough, they did not stop because nothing stops active labor. And so here I was contracting every 5 minutes, and they were getting more intense. So I called my doula and I let my midwife know, and I woke up my husband and I was like, hey, so I'm in labor. And he's like, how do you know? I mean, like, how do you really know? And I'm like, well, although my contractions are only 5 minutes apart, I just know. And I tell my clients this all the time. When you're in active labor, there is no question. You just know it. And that was the moment that I definitely knew it. So fast forward, my doula came over and I'm still contracting pretty consistently and they're getting closer together. My midwife shows up at sunrise and she does a vaginal exam. And look, I was just texting on Facebook, oh my God, I'm in labor, oh my God, which I know I tell you guys not to do that, but I did it. And so I'm contracting, texting on Facebook. My midwife shows up. She says, let me check you. And sure enough, I am 6 centimeters and so excited. Shortly after that, I slipped into what I like to call labor land. So with the support of my doula and my birth team, I'm laboring in the bathtub, I'm switching positions, I'm using my rebozo. I'm pretty much just freely laboring around my room, doing my thing while my active labor contractions were going. This is stage 1, phase 2, active labor. Now transition is simply the transition between active labor and pushing. It's not actually its own phase, but to describe it to my clients, I typically just call it its own phase. Now, I had the luxury of 2 natural births that I didn't really feel my transition. A lot of moms describe transition as something that just the contractions come back to back. They're really intense because that rest period's really short. I had a luxury of not really feeling that. I go from 6 to complete pretty quickly, but in my case for my home birth, I happened to be peeing on the toilet when my water broke. I would consider that transition for me because I ripped the handle of the toilet paper thing off the wall, and sure enough, my baby's coming down. And I look at my midwife and I say, I don't want to deliver this baby on the toilet. She's like, baby, you're fine. Come on, let's try hands and knees. I switch into hands and knees. I start pushing. Nope. I get on the bed and I start pushing in hands and knees. Nope. Do you know that out of all the births that I've attended where I discourage mamas from delivering on their back, I actually am the person who likes to deliver on my back? And so I am now in stage 2. Stage 2 is the pushing phase of labor. And thankfully for number 2, as usual for most second babies, it was so much faster than number 1. Number 1, I pushed for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Number 2, I think I pushed 6 times. Baby came out, I lifted my baby up. It was like, oh my gosh, he looks exactly like I thought he would, and I am never doing this again. So yeah, I'm right there with you guys. Believe it or not, I actually have one of the worst pain tolerances in most people you've ever met. But I would give birth unmedicated all over again. It's just something really, really different about the pain with a purpose. And I remember in my second birth for my home birth, a lot of the fear was taken out of the birth because I knew what to expect because I had done this before. And so as my contractions would get stronger, I remember thinking, oh yeah, I'm 1 step closer to my baby. Not what I thought in my first birth, which was, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. In fact, for my first birth, I actually told my mom, I can't ask women to have natural births. This is awful. But keep in mind, I was being induced in the hospital. My home birth was phenomenal. There's actually a 3rd stage. This is a stage that we deliver your placenta, but this is pretty much a stage mostly for like healthcare providers. If you want to see some more of the birth stories of mamas who've delivered at the birth house, I'm going to add that playlist right here. Go ahead and take a look and learn a little bit more about what truly natural birth really looks like. As you know, I believe in truly natural birth. If you do too, you want to go ahead and click that subscribe button. I hope that you loved my story. It's kind of embarrassing to share, but I was happy to share it with you. And I hope you'll keep watching. We'll see you next Midwife Monday. Bye!